Okay, let's see how to use annotation based approach, annotation based mapping. Okay, annotation based, yes, annotation based mapping. For that I am creating a new application, annotations demo. Next, this program requires several jar files to be included, so external jar. From this folder, Hibernate 3 jars folder, and I'll just select all the jar files. Then I'll again click on add external jar. Here I need one more file, OJDBC6, okay, because it's a JDBC driver which is required. Okay, finish. Annotation demo. Just like our previous demo, even this program requires one hibernate.cfg.xml file. So let me have this hibernate.cfg.xml file here with a small change, of course. I'll just delete this mapping resource books.xml, and instead of that I'll use something else. Okay, so this is my hibernate.cfg.xml, which is exactly same as my HBM demo, Hibernate mapping file demo. But this time what change I'm going to do is I'll create a book class directly here. See, this was my book.java file. Okay, I'll create a book.java file here. Okay, no. Okay, let's create a package separately. Where it is, package. Let's see how this can be used. This is my Java file. Please pay attention. This is my Java file. Now, Hibernate actually has two different set of annotations available. One is Hibernate's own annotations, which are available in org.hibernate package, and second one is JPA annotation, Java Persistence API annotation. Benefit of using JPA annotation is JPA annotations work even in other ORM frameworks other than Hibernate. Okay, and most of the people, like, it's even my personal favorite, using JPA annotations. In order to use them, we need this import statement, import javax.persistence.star. This package contains all JPA annotations. Let's see how to use them. First of all, you need one @entity declaration or @entity annotation. Mark this class as entity, which means linked to table. Then we need another table annotation where we need to provide name of table. What is name of table? Books. So these two annotations, when combined, what they mean? This class is linked with a database table with name books. Is that clear? Next thing that we need is, for every field you need to provide this kind of annotation, @ID and @column. Column name is book ID. Okay, yeah. Now what about title and category? Now there is a problem. You cannot declare two variables now in single line, because both of them will have separate annotations, right? Now what is name of this column? Title. Actually, for this column, this name attribute is optional. Okay, anyway, let's say length. How big is title? Listen now, it's book ID, title and category. Can you see this? Book ID, title and category here. So what we are going to do now? यहाँ पर इसे describe करते हैं books. See, title is 25 characters and category is also for 25 characters. So length is equal to 25. डेटा टाइप देने की जरूरत ही नहीं है बिकॉज इट्स ऑलरेडी स्पेसिफाइड. हाँ, अदरवाइज वो बहुत ज्यादा बड़े बड़े वैल्यूज डालने की कोशिश करेगा. कैटेगरी and length is equal to again 25. Is that clear? Don't you think this is much better than writing XML file? No need to copy paste that doc type declaration or search for doc type declaration. No need to create an extra XML file. Nothing like that. Just put simple annotations in class itself. Yes? One more thing. In those columns where name of column and here field name, if they are both same, you can actually skip @column annotation. When @column annotation is absent, Hibernate will assume that database column name and property name in your book.java, they are one and same. It will assume it like that. So let me put a comment here. Mark this field as primary key. Yeah. Link it with column ID. किसको? Book ID इंटीजर है ना? लेंथ सिर्फ स्ट्रिंग को देनी पड़ती है यहाँ. हाँ, ठीक है. @column annotation can be skipped when column name and property name are same. Okay, we can just skip this annotation. Is that clear? Now I'll give you one thing for self-study. What if a Java class contains a property which you don't want to link with database field? Like for example, in Java class there is a property called author, but there is no field author in database table. Database table में there are 3 columns, class में there are 4 columns, and 4th column is not linked with database table. Is there any way to do that? Is there any way to inform Hibernate, do not try to link this property with any column or with any field? There is a notation for that purpose. I just want you to search for it.
आपने लिखा ही नहीं
तो लिखा नहीं तो ये बाय डिफॉल्ट क्या अज्यूम करेगा? वो ये समझेगा कि अगर समझो तुमने प्राइवेट स्ट्रिंग टाइटल लिखा विदाउट @column, तो वो डेटाबेस में देखेगा टाइटल नंबर नाम का कोई कॉलम है क्या, और अगर उसे नहीं मिला तो वो एक्सेप्शन थ्रो कर देगा. उससे तुम्हें बताना होगा कि इसे इग्नोर करो प्लीज. ठीक है, इजी लग रहा है ना कंपैरेटिवली? हाँ, कर लेंगे हम लोग उसको डिफिकल्ट. उसमें कितना टाइम लगता है ना? हाँ, ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स ट्राई मैपिंग. नाउ दिस टाइम इंस्टेड ऑफ मैपिंग रिसोर्स वी हैव टू यूज मैपिंग क्लास, एंड हियर आई विल राइट फुल्ली क्वालिफाइड नेम. हाँ, java x.persistence, इट्स नॉट इन हाइबरनेट. वो जेपी एनोटेशंस है, वो हाइबरनेट के डॉक्स में नहीं मिलेंगे. ओके, अब हम लोग यहाँ पर एक बना लेते हैं मेन एप्लीकेशन. एप्लीकेशन मेन विद पब्लिक स्टैटिक वॉइड मेन, और यहाँ पर मैं देखो क्या कोड लिखता हूँ. प्लीज पहले तो मुझे कुछ इंपोर्ट करना होगा. import org.hibernate.cfg.star, then another one org.hibernate.star. Let's see what I'm going to do now. Configuration conf is equal to new configuration. Yes, configuration conf is equal to new configuration. Okay, one more thing, we need to even call its .configure method. Okay, then session factory is equal to conf dot build session factory. Yes, and then we get a session object. Session is equal to factory dot open session. At the end of our program we should be closing that session as well, so we should close it like this. Then let's try to load book object B equal to session dot get book dot class, and here we write argument 1 not. Okay, it's going to get me same output which my previous program had given me. Okay, am I getting same output here? Let us see. Okay, but this time what is difference in this program and first demo? In this one we used mapping file, XML based mapping, and in this program I used annotation based approach. So both the approaches are available to you. For simplicity purpose, we will use annotation based approach from now onward, and we will not use XML based approach. Is that clear? Okay, because you people will then otherwise make mistakes in XML file also. Okay, anyway, it's up to you. You can explore XML based approach later on your own. Okay, yeah. Now, so this is how a Hibernate program can work, but this is basic. Okay, retrieving data from database. What if I want to store data into database? What if I want to store data into database? How it can be done? For that, what we can do is, wait a second, book B2 equal to new book. Let's create book ID 105. Book title. Now just suggest me some kind of title, okay?
Immortals of Memoir.
Huh? War of Worlds. And it's a sci-fi novel. Okay. Now, so it's a new book which I have created. Now this looks like a normal Java object creation, right? Now let's try something else. Transaction T is equal to null, and here for this purpose now we need a try catch. Hibernate has its own set of exceptions as well. Hibernate exception ex, okay, ex dot print stack trace. If T is not equal to null, T dot rollback. Rollback. Okay, now look at this. You have to write all this code, okay? Transaction management.
So unchecked exception.
Unchecked. Okay, now let's see how it works. First, we need to begin it. So what I'll do is, I'll call a method session dot begin transaction. Wait a second, what happened? Session dot begin transaction and commit transaction. In between them, let me just call session dot save B2. Book saved. Wait a second, they should come after commit. Now let me go to my database first and let's check this. There is 101, 102 and 4, but there is no 105, right? Now let me try to run this program and let's see what happens. Is it saying book saved? And what kind of query it has generated this time? Insert. And don't you think this query is very easy to understand? It's a simple insert statement with parameters, question mark, and this query was generated by Hibernate. Now let me go back to WinXP, my virtual system. Can you see a new book being added there? Yes or no? Okay, now let's just go back here and let me just put it down. Okay. Now let's try to understand what we did. First, we made a reference variable for transaction. Transaction is another interface from org.hibernate. Okay. Then, what is transaction? Transaction is simply unit of work, an atomic unit of work. Atomic means it should either succeed, completely succeed, or it should completely fail. There cannot be partial success. A transaction is a unit of work, means which may have or which may contain number of database operations, insert, update, delete, number of, but it's atomic in nature, means within a transaction, if you are performing 10 operations, the transaction is said to be successful when all 10 operations are successful, right? And if any of the operation fails, then entire transaction has to fail. If any operation fails, entire transaction has to fail. Is that clear? Transaction, unit of work. Now here we started transaction inside try block, right? After that we call this method session.save b2. Remember, the save method must be called from session variable. Okay, then we try to commit this transaction. Now any of these three methods may throw Hibernate exception. ये तीनों statement Hibernate exception throw कर सकते हैं. Now why begin transaction will throw an exception? If database connection is unavailable, if database is not connected, or due to some reason your application is not able to communicate with database, it cannot start a new transaction on database, then it will throw an exception. If data cannot be saved because there is already a record with book ID 105, then this method will fail. Or let's say at the time of submitting all the changes to database, if it fails, again it will throw an exception. And in all cases, what we should do? If it throws an exception, we should roll back our transaction. What rollback statement will do? It will undo all the changes that we have made in this try block. Inside this try block, whatever changes you have made to database using insert, update or delete, you can undo that by using rollback method. And commit means save all. Okay, yeah, this is how it works. Now can you try this in your program? One more thing, you can try this part of code even in your current program. This doesn't depend on annotation based approach. This will work even when you have used books.xml. That means you don't have to actually implement annotation based approach now. You can try it later. For time being, you try this code in your existing program. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you are using XML based approach or annotation based approach for this. Okay, can you try it now? Yeah, try it.
So, मतलब वो rollback